¿Ya me sigues?
Good evening. Welcome, Miss Rosa and Miss Stevens, to our Using Characters to Understand Bullying workshop for this evening.
Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por estar en este taller de usando personajes para entender el acoso.
My name is Lonka Serrano. I am the Family Campus Liaison for Acton, Hyman and Smith Elementary.
Mi nombre es Lonka Denise Serrano y yo soy enlace de compromiso familiar de Smith, Acton y Hyman.
And this evening, I have the honor to have my coworker friend, Miss Sylvia Perez, who's going to be translating for me this evening.
Y tengo el honor de presentarles, thank you, Miss Serrano, a Silvia, servidora. Yo voy a estar traduciendo este workshop.
Thank you.
Taller.
We're gonna go on overview real fast to the virtual meeting norms. The first one will be find a quiet place and limit background noises. Be positive and respectful when communicating. Use the chat to share your ideas and mute your mic when no speaking. Turn your video on to speak and turn off to save bandwidth.
Estas son algunas de las normas de las juntas virtuales. Es encontrar un lugar tranquilo y limitar el ruido, ser positivo y respetuoso al comunicarnos y prender video para hablar y apagar el video para conservar la conexión del internet, utilizar el chat para compartir ideas y apagar el micrófono cuando no esté hablando en Zoom.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. And at the bottom of this slide, we have a quote, a beautiful quote that is say, let others see the good that you can see in them.
Y aquí debajo de esta presentación tenemos una frase que dice, deja que otros vean lo bueno que puedes ver en ellos.
At this moment, I would like for you, we're gonna have a quick icebreaker. And we would like to share some positive thoughts, anything good that happened to you today. Let's share on the chat. Let's all type anything on the chat. Even myself, I'm going to include something in there as well. So a positive thought, a quote that you would like to share. So at this moment, we're going to take 2 minutes to share any positive thoughts or anything positive that happened to you during the day.
Y vamos a romper el hielo. Vamos a escribir una frase positiva que haya pasado algo bueno en tu día y lo vamos a compartir en el chat.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. All right. at this moment where I'm going to start reading what we shared on the chat. Miss Stevens is shared. I spoke to a parent who gave us great feedback about Smith Elementary. Love hearing from our community. Great. It's always a blessing to hear how our parents and our families are feeling towards our campuses, our schools. That's that's a blessing to hear. And Miss Rosas, I don't take a challenge lightly. I overcome it. Thank you, Miss Rosas. Great quote. And I shared that today I received some donations for our parents, and I feel very blessed for all the support that I received from all my 3 campuses. Miss Perez, is there anything that you would like to share with us as
Sorry,
well?
my mouse, I don't know. Well, yeah, I want to share a story real quick. It was really my son was coming from swimming and he found a dog in the street. And it was a very old dog, 13 years old with no teeth. So we were like, what are we gonna do with it? So I posted in neighbor next door, and someone tagged me that they were looking for that dog. It was named Princess. It was like a Yorkie. So I get in touch with the owner, and she lives in the next block from my house, and she was telling me that that was not her dog. It was her mom's dog, but she passed away, and that's when the dog get lost. And then today, it was the funeral, and she received a call that we find her dog. It was her mom's dog. So she was crying. She was really emotional. She was very grateful that we returned her dog. And she's like, I'm just coming, from my mom's funeral, and they call me that you found my dog. So that really make us the day.
That was awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Miss Perez. Excuse me. Thank you for each of you for participating in this icebreaker. Thank you. It's always good to hear and balance the things that might be kind of hard for us during the day to go through, to always balance the good ones for the bad ones. So thank you each of you for sharing these positive thoughts. And
Gracias a todos por compartir todas estas frases tan positivas. A veces que tenemos días malos, pero sobre todo sacar lo bueno de ellos.
thank you, Ms. Perez. Once again, welcome to our Bully Beans workshop. And I'm sorry, this is the icebreaker that we just did. And here's some learning outcomes for this evening. Is help kids understand bullying by using characters in stories, identify different kinds of bullying, and understand conflict versus bullying.
Estos son los resultados del aprendizaje de este taller, cómo ayudar a tus niños a entender qué es el acoso, cómo puedes identificar diferentes tipos de acoso y cómo puedes entender diferencia entre conflicto y acoso.
And before we start, we're going to define what is bullying. So bullying is an unwanted aggressive behavior among school-aged children that involves a real or perceived power imbalance. The behavior is repeated or has the potential to be repeated over time.
Antes que nada de esta presentación que vamos a empezar, voy a explicar un poco qué es lo que es el acoso. El acoso es un comportamiento agresivo no deseado entre niños en edad escolar que implica un desequilibrio de poder real o percibido. El comportamiento se repite o tiene el potencial de repetirse con el tiempo.
And then on the left side, we have beans. We have the word beans that it says bullies everywhere are now stopped. This is something that I would like to share with you as well. This is the story of the book, the name of the story.
Este es el nombre de la historia, se llama Bully Beans. Bullies están donde quiera, hay que pararlos.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. At this time, I would like to share with you a video that gives us an idea on how we can teach our children, our students, how they can handle bullying and how they can learn more from it from reading books, reading stories. So at this time, I'm going to play this video. It is about 10 minutes, but we're just gonna go maybe 3 or 4 minutes so it can give us an idea of the concept of how reading can be, how we can use characters um, to teach our young children about bullying.
Vamos a presentarle esta lectura del libro, dura 10 minutos, pero lo vamos a hacer en 2 o 3 minutos. Este es un gran libro que se llama Bullyings y tiene un mensaje muy profundo de cómo los niños pueden entender lo que es el acoso. Y a veces es un poco difícil explicarle a los niños qué es bullying. Y estos libros ayudan mucho a los niños a comprender lo que es el acoso y cómo pueden detenerlo, cómo pueden pararlo, cómo comportarse ante la situación que están pasando.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. Please thumbs up if you can hear the audio, please. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Flaherty. I teach 4th grade. Welcome to Buddy's Book Corner. I'm going to read the book called Bullyings, written by Julia Cook and illustrated by Anita Dufala. Bobette was a big, bad bully. She made sure all the kids at my school knew she was the boss. She'd tell all of us what to do, and we'd do it. She'd tell all of us where to go, and we'd
Sorry about that.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Flaherty. I teach 4th grade. Welcome to Buddy's Book Corner. I'm going to read the book called Bullyings, written by Julia Cook and illustrated by Anita Dufala. Bobette was a big, bad bully. She made sure all the kids at my school knew she was the boss. She'd tell all of us what to do, and we'd do it. She'd tell all of us where to go, and we'd go there. She'd even tell all of us what to say, and we'd say it. If we didn't do what Bobette told us to do, she'd look at us with her mean eyes. We all knew what that meant. If you don't do exactly what I say, I'll twist you into a human pretzel, she'd tell us. We all thought about what it would be like to be twisted into a human pretzel, and it scared us a lot. So we all ended up doing exactly what Bobette told us to do, and we let her be the boss. Bobette liked to pick on kids, especially Winston. Winston is the smartest kid in our whole school. Bobette made Winston do all of her homework. Bobette made Winston give her all of his lunch money. Bobette liked to make Winston cry, and then she'd call him a crybaby. Bobette teased Winston every day. She said that if he didn't do exactly what she told him to do, she'd twist him into a human mini pretzel. Nobody liked the way Bobette treated Winston, but we were all too afraid to do anything about it. Bobette didn't have any real friends, but she didn't know that nobody liked Bobette, but we pretended to like her so she wouldn't show us her mean eyes. Last week, Bobette asked me to go over to her house after school. I didn't really want to go, but I went anyway. When we got to her house, her big brother Larry started bullying her. He told her what to do, and she did it. He told her where to go, and she went there. He even told her what to say, and she said it. Larry made Bobette cry, and then he called her a crybaby. He told her that if she didn't do his homework for him, he'd twist her into a human pretzel. I don't ever have time to do my own homework, she whispered to me. That's why I make Winston do it for me. For the first time in my life, I started to feel sorry for Bobette. I began to understand why she was so mean to everybody. That night, I went home and told my mom all about Bobette. I told her how mean she is to all of us and how mean her brother, Larry, is to her. Sounds like you have a true blue bully on your hands, my mom said. I'll get out the bully beans. Bully beans? What are you talking about? My mom reached into our kitchen cupboard and pulled out a bag of jelly beans. She grabbed a magic marker and wrote bully beans across the bag. Bully beans are magic jelly beans that, when chewed up, remind kids that
So this is a very good book for dealing with bullies. There's a small part that explains why Bobette is a bully. This tells children how to handle a bully.
Este libro es muy bueno para tratar con los que hacen bullying. Hay una pequeña parte que explica que Bober es un acosador y esto le dice a los niños como para manejar el acosador, el bully.
Here's a summary of the storyline. Bobette is a mean bully who makes children do and say anything she wants. Bobette tells the children she will twist them into human pretzels if they do not do what she wants. When this little girl talks to her mom about the bully, her mom gives her bully beans, jelly beans. Bully beans are magic beans that make you strong so you can stand up to bullies.
Este es el resumen de este libro. Bobette es una bully malvada que hace que los niños hagan y digan lo que ella quiera. Bobette le dice a los niños que los convertirá en pretzels humanos si no hacen lo que ella quiere. Cuando esta niña habla con su mamá sobre el bullying, sobre Bobette, su mamá le da bully beans. Los frijoles acosadores son los frijoles bully. Son frijoles mágicos que te hacen fuerte para que puedas enfrentar a los acosadores.
For the parents that we had that join us this evening, what other ways you have taught your children how to handle bullying, whether they're being bullied or they're being going through any situation regarding bullying?
De los que estamos aquí, quisiera oír lo que piensan de cómo sus hijos han podido enfrentar bullying, si es que han pasado, porque entre bullying y conflicto es muy diferente. Se pueden pelear entre niños, pero, por ejemplo, se pueden pelear por un juguete. Pero bullying es cuando ya estás atacando verbalmente o físicamente o emocionalmente. So,
Yes.
si gustan compartir su historia o una anécdota o algo que les haya pasado acerca de bullying.
Yes, thank you for making that clarification, Miss Ferris. But because there's a difference between conflict and bullying. So, but whenever your child has experienced bullying or conflict, have you taught your children how to handle this type of conflict or bullying if they ever have experienced this type
¿Cómo
of
les ha
situation?
enseñado a sus hijos a manejar el conflicto versus bullying?
I tell my children to speak up. That bullying only occurs if you do not speak, in my opinion. And so we're very strong when it comes to communicating. You know, I tell them, even if you feel intimidated or if you feel scared, you need to let me know, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to help you. you know, and lots of times I feel that there's no guidance for the child. And this is why this occurs, you know, where for some reason they just feel like they have to tell people what to do, how to do, why to do, you know, because they don't have that control or they don't have that power in their house. So that's just us in our house.
Thank you so much for sharing, Ms. Rosas, and you're absolutely right. Thank you. And Ms. Stevens also share on the chat. We have talked about speaking up and make sure an adult knows what's going on. Thank you again, Ms. Rosa. We agree. Thank you for sharing what you have implemented in your house with your kids. Thank you. Anybody else would like to share anything else?
I also just wanted to add from the administrator perspective, if their child has made them aware of something that's happening at school, to make sure that the school knows so that we can take care of it right away. When we know, we can act. When we don't know, we don't know. And so we always encourage parents to make sure that not only the teacher, but administrator is aware so that we can take care of it right away.
Absolutely. This is very important for parents to know that they have to communicate to the administration as well. Thank you, Ms. Stevens.
So I want to translate this, Ms. Serrano, because I think what Ms. Stevens as administrator is really important. So es muy importante que cuando un niño esté siendo acosado por otro niño, por favor dirigirse a los maestros, administradores para que tomen acción inmediatamente y puedan arreglar el problema antes de que se haga más grande. También están las consejeras de la escuela. Mandar un correo electrónico a los maestros, avisarles y más, sobre todo tener la buena comunicación con tu hijo en casa, que te pueda decir lo que está pasando en la escuela.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Stevens. Thank you, Ms. Rosas and Ms. Perez. And here are different types of bullying. The three major categories are, the first one is the verbal bullying.
Hay tres diferentes categorías de bullying y este es hay verbal.
It consists of using words to hurt, making fun of others, name calling, teasing, making threats, intimidation, cyberbullying, and taunting.
Usando palabras para lastimar, burlándose de los demás, llamándole por nombres, hacer burlas, amenazas, intimidación, buscando a ver dónde le pico para que se enoje, y también cyberbullying. Cyberbullying es como, puede ser por Facebook, te puedo estar diciendo cosas. O cuando están jugando, I'm going to say it in English, Ms. Serrano, and then in Spanish. I want to share something that happened. My son, when he started playing Xbox, he was on live. So they play with other kids. He was like around 8. And they were telling him, you know, things to him online, but I couldn't hear because he was playing with the headset. And he was going to tell me, Mom, can you go and tell those boys to stop telling me things? And because I didn't know what he was playing with or what they were talking about. So I went and get the Microsoft set, and I remember I start telling the kids, oh, I'm going to tell your mother, you know. But it's really important that know who they play with, because sometimes we don't have no idea, and it could be, you know, it could be difficult because we don't know what's going on. So that's kind of like, I can say it's like a cyberbullying.
Yes, this is very true. Thank you for sharing that part when it becomes about our kids playing either in social media or they're playing video games. Thank you, Ms. Perez. And here's other types of bullying. We have the relationship bullying, using friends to hurt, Emotional social bullying, using power over friends, making others feel inferior, pressuring others, exclusion, leaving out, or spreading rumors or gossiping, and embarrassing others in public.
Hay otro tipo de bullying que es amistad de acoso, usando amigos para lastimar a otros niños, como les dicen, me dile tú a este niño esto. Lo que dijimos, bullying emocional y social, usar el poder sobre amigos, hacer otros que se sientan inferiores, presionar a otros, excluirlos, como a veces hay grupitos, dices tú no juegas por tal razón y lo ponen aparte y van y se quejan con la maestra que no me deja jugar conmigo, ese también es un tipo de bullying. Difusión, rumores, chismes, hablar mal de otro. Y la otra cosa es avergonzar en público, o sea, delante de otros niños, delante de un adulto. Todo eso es lo que es el bullying de amistades de acoso.
Thank you so much, Ms. Perez. We have these other types of bullying, that is physical bullying. This one involves using the body to cause harm. Physically fighting, hitting, pushing, kicking, biting, tripping, flicking, poking, speeding, making gestures, taking or breaking other things.
Este es otro tipo de acoso que es el acoso ya físicamente, como usando el cuerpo para causar daño, pelear, patear, dar puños. A veces juegan luchando, como por lo que acabo de decir. Escupir, hacer gestos, malas caras, o tomar o romper las cosas de otros niños.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. How is defined bullying? What are the different types of bullying? And what is the difference between conflict and bullying?
¿Cómo se define el acoso escolar? ¿Cuáles son los diferentes tipos de bullying? ¿Y cuál es la diferencia entre conflicto y bullying?
Oh, sorry, let me go back to this slide. So now let's discuss these three questions. How you can define, how is bully defined?
¿Cómo se define el bullying? Cada quien tiene una manera diferente de pensar qué es el bullying.
You as a parent, how you can share with us?
It's the attitude. Like for me, I know my children. I know how they act. I know how they respond. So when they have a great day, you can see it in their little face. If they're having a bad day, and primarily for elementary, maybe intermediate as well, but in elementary, it's their gestures, the way they, proceed on their daily activities. So if they, they come to the house and how was your day? You always want to talk to them and see how their day was. And if they're, being shy or trying to neglect how their day was, then that's how you know something's wrong. That's how I would define it. If someone was bothering them or if they were bothering someone, because it could go both ways.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
And as a parent, we have to, again, guide our children, and it's hard, but we got to do it, right?
Exactly. We had to give them those tools to handle. Yes.
Can I add to what she said?
Absolutely, Ms. Stevens.
Awesome. When we think about the definition of bullying, bullying is when we have someone who is seeking to harm or intimidate or coerce someone that they perceive as vulnerable. And so one differentiation that we talk about a lot with our parents is the difference between an argument or a conflict versus bullying, because bullying is the intent to go after someone they feel like is weaker and who will not speak up and who will not report, versus a conflict when they get into just an argument with someone, or even if it's a fight. That's very different from bullying. Bullying is something that they are intentional about. We also talk about how bullying can be a one-time event. It could be an event where they've never had any other interaction with that child, but a child comes to them with the intent to harm them because they are more vulnerable. That would be bullying. So we spend a lot of time talking to our families about the difference between the two, because sometimes they think some of the typical behavior is bullying. And so we just want to help them, know the difference.
Exactly. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing. Um, and the last one is, what is the oh yes, we discussed that. What is the difference between conflict and bullying? Thank you so much, Ms. Stevens and Ms. Rosas. And here's some resources if you would like to take a picture of these resources. And also we have a QR code on the right, on the top right, if you would like to scan it with your phone. So we'll take you to some resources that you can discuss with your students, with your children at home. And you can also take a picture of this slide. These are great resources.
Estos son algunos recursos de cómo fue hecha esta presentación, de dónde se agarraron. Aquí hay un QR, si lo pueden escanear con su teléfono, y ahí les va a dar todos los links de cómo, si quieren tener más información acerca de bullying y toda la información que se utilizó para hacer esta presentación.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. And here's some other books that are really good or really great that talks about bullying and some other ways that our students, our children can deal and handle bullying or conflict at schools. Here's some, you can either go to your Duncanville public library, or you can also get these books from the school library. But here, or also if you would like to get some of them, just to get them to have them at home, these books are available too on Amazon on different other pages that you can buy them and have access to them. So you can also read and share this with your scholar.
Estos son muy buenos libros de cómo podemos enseñar a nuestros hijos a entender el acoso, entender el bullying, explicándole con personajes, con historias. Estos libros los pueden encontrar en una biblioteca, a veces que los venden en la book fair de la escuela. También los pueden comprar en Amazon. Yo compré el de Bully Beans en Amazon. A mí me encantó esa historia. Y es una manera de poderles explicar a los niños cómo pueden entender el bullying.
Thank you, Ms. Perez. Now we're going to reflect on learning. And here are two questions. How we can prevent bullying, and what are some strategies for kindness, acceptance, and inclusion that you can teach your children or your scholar?
También vamos a reflexionar un poco en lo que hemos aprendido durante esta presentación de cómo podemos prevenir el bullying, cuáles son algunas estrategias de amabilidad o aceptación o inclusión.
Do you need the feedback?
Yes,
Like my
please.
feedback?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, please.
I'm sorry. I was like, I don't know if she's reading it or okay. Well, preventing it is just looking at your child. I mean, you see, like, I'm sure in the schools, teachers are aware most of the time of what's going on, you know, in their classrooms. I'm not talking about when they go to specials or when they go to, you know, other activities, but I'm assuming that they pay attention, but as a parent, we can't leave everything for the teacher to do as well. I mean, we as a parent have to take the initiative and, you know, listen to our child, pay attention. It, you know, that's the way to prevent it is by communicating. If there's no communication, we can't do anything about it. So just communicating with the child, you know, at the house, telling them what's right from wrong. Actually, I couldn't think of one situation or scenario that occurred to me. I don't know if it's okay if I share it with you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
My daughter is a toddler. She's 3 years old. She knows what's right. She knows what's wrong. We were at the playground and a little girl, it happened to be a little girl, same age. I don't know, she put some little, those little wood chips that they put in the playground. She put it on the slide before my daughter slid down. So my daughter goes running to her and pushes her. I guess she felt upset that, you know, the little girl had put some wood chips on the slide where she was sliding down. So I called her immediately and I said, no, you can't react that way. You can't push her because she really didn't do anything. All she did was put the wood chips. Yes, it was wrong, but that doesn't mean go start something, right? So I told her, I said, please don't push anybody anymore, because if you do, then we're not going to play at the playground anymore. So when she heard me react to how she was acting, that, you know, that showed her, no, you know, you're my daughter, I love you, but that doesn't mean you're going to be able to push someone just because. And it's especially right now that they're the little sponge, you know, they're absorbing every single little thing that you do, every detail, even the way that I act, she will mimic at times, she will do. So I think it's very important that, you know, if you see something that's wrong, you let them know right away. There's no point in saving it for the end of the day or later on, because then that situation is not going to be resolved in a timely manner, you know? So that's what happened to us, and, you know, she learned. Sure, she's gonna learn.
A very great story, a very good example how to teach them how to be kindness and how to solve conflict whenever they don't feel comfortable about a certain situation. Thank you, Miss Rosas, for sharing. Miss Ramirez, would you like to share as well, please? Is there anything that you would
Yes,
like to share? Yes.
yes, I think it's some of the strategies to help them to be kindness. I think it's always important just to remind them of what is good. I always tell my kids, you know, what is good, what is bad, and you can see it in them when they come and tell you, mommy, you know, today this and this and that happened, and that kid did this and that. And I always, you know, anytime they say stuff like that, I'm like, so what do you think you could have done if that was you? What could have you done better, or how could you have shown, you know, being kind to them? And I think, because the kids are always going to talk about this happened, that happened, and I always try to say, well, what could have you done better? Because that kid did not act the way, you know, appropriate, or he did not say what he should have said. And, you know, just try to correct, because they learn from it, and they know when they're wrong, and try to, you know, correct and let them know what could have be done better, because they will definitely keep it. They do.
Awesome. Thank you, Miss Ramirez. Thank you, Miss Rosas, and thank you, Miss Ramirez, for sharing. Yes, definitely. communication is key with our students. Ms. Perez?
Definitivamente, esta son dos historias y aquí el resumen de las dos historias de Miss Rosas y Miss Ramírez es la comunicación. La comunicación es lo más importante porque si no sabemos cómo vamos a poder ayudar a resolver el problema del niño en la escuela. Otra, siempre mostrar lo que es bueno y lo que es malo a los niños. A mí me gustaría compartir, I'm going to share like a story that it happened when I was working at the school as a teacher assistant. I was in pre-K and this kid will tell their mom, I'm getting bullied at school. And the mom went like, I don't know how many times and talked to the teacher about getting bullied. I mean, when you work with kids at that age, like your eyes are like on them all day because you know how pre-Ks are and you know you have to be there, so you see everything. And the teacher and I, we were just talking like, I don't see if they do anything to, you know, to him, like why he's saying that it's getting bullied. So what happened is that he had the wrong definition about what it was bullying. So because probably that kid heard her mom saying, oh, he's getting bullied at school. So he started repeating that and he starts saying it. So I think we have to teach our kids what is real, like what is bullying instead of like a conflict. So, you know, and for be able to do that, we have to have that communication.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Perez. And yes, that's very important for us to teach them the difference between a conflict and whenever there's actually a bullying. That is something that is happening regarding bullying. So at this time, I would like to share with you our different counselors from our different campuses. We have from Acton Elementary, we have Miss Midkiff, we have Miss Thibodeaux from Hyman, and we have Miss Kurtz from Smith Elementary. And here are their emails. If you would like to communicate them any situation regarding your children, please, you may contact your school counselor. They're here to serve you. They're here to hear anything that is going on with your child. So please feel free to contact any of your school counselor from where your student attends.
También aquí tengo a las 3 consejeras de la escuela de Acton, Hyman y Smith. Cualquier pregunta, cualquier que necesiten hablar con ella, siempre pueden escribirles un email. Ahorita es emails por lo del COVID, pero estoy segura que los atenderá lo más pronto posible.
So please feel free to get in touch with your school counselor. You may take a picture so that way you can save it for later in case that you might need some assistance, okay? So I will allow a few seconds so you can take a picture of this slide. Okay. And our next event, we just finished with we're just completed our parent workshop for this evening, but I would like to share with you our upcoming event. It's going to be on Tuesday, April the 13th at the same time at 6 p.m. You will receive a flyer pretty soon that is coming up. So I think this is the one. Yes, I thought that I had the other two. So I only have this Skyward one. Please don't miss this information. This is a really good information about how you can access your student progress on Skyward.
Este es nuestro próximo evento, Skyward Family Access y el progreso de los estudiantes. Esta es una aplicación que el distrito ofrece, un sistema para checar los grados de nuestros hijos, y va a ser el martes 13 de abril a las 6 p.m.
So please mark your calendar because we would like to see you here again.
So marquen su calendario. También se van a estar rifando premios. Vamos a estar regalando cositas para la gente que ingrese a nuestros talleres.
And here are the 3 campuses that I serve. I serve Acton, Smith, and Hyman Elementary. Here's the pictures of our different resources center. Right now, we are unable to receive visitors, but we can receive any information, any resource that you might be needing. Here's my contact information. Here's my email. So please feel free to communicate with me any resource, any academic support that your student might be needing. So stay in touch.
Estos son los 3 escuelas que yo sirvo, Acton, Hyman y Smith. Tenemos los recursos familiares. Ahorita pues normalmente no es imposible recibir padres de familia, pero cualquier duda, pregunta, lo que tengan en que los pueda ayudar académicamente, esta es mi información.
So thanks again for your participation. We would like to hear from you. Here's a QR code because we would like for you to complete a quick survey.